The United States went before the UN Human Rights Council, who scolded us over Gitmo, surveillance, the death penalty, and our police. So who ragged on us? Brazil, Malaysia, Mexico, others. First, Brazil, where their prisons make Attica look like Legoland.
At least 4 inmates were killed, 2 of them beheaded in a prison riot in southern Brazil. The violence erupted on Sunday when inmates overpowered guards as they tried to deliver breakfast.
Overcrowded and violent, the adult prison population runs 43% over capacity, 20,000 of which are kids. Poor sanitation, disease. Those who don't die there are often tortured. I'd say go to hell, Brazilian at the UN, but it sounds like you left it behind. Malaysia. They criminalize homosexuality, enforce Sharia law. You can get caned for drinking booze and executed for drugs. It's also a destination for women and children sold into sexual exploitation.
We're seeing a large number of children who are exposed and exploited by the sex industry.
That puts the Malays in Malaysia. And then Mexico. Confessions via torture, mass disappearances, corrupt prisons, deadly cartels. Maybe if your country was better to your citizens, so many wouldn't be fleeing to our scary country. And who can forget this?
Already 51 days behind bars, a U.S. Marine who did 2 tours in Afghanistan for us, held in a Mexican prison after making a wrong turn at the border.
Thanks, Mexico. So, what the UN focused on, our justice system and anti-terror measures are what protects us. They see our security as abuse. Why now? Perhaps they also see an opportunity to recast our policy as tyranny because they sense a sympathetic ear in the administration. No joke. A Justice Department hack actually agreed with these criticisms. He should be tossed in a Brazilian prison. So if the UN sees our protections as abuse, why offer them our protection at all? Why should the UN even have our security? You want us to be vulnerable? Then you first. But then again, taking advice on abuse from the UN makes some sense. They are the experts. All right, I can't believe this day and age. James Cadigan, Justice Department.
I can't believe it.
He said we must rededicate ourselves to ensuring civil rights laws live up to their promise. He said that at this Human Rights Council. He basically bowed to them.
So I was a spokesperson at the Justice Department for a while. Basically, there's 5 things that you say at the Justice Department, and they're all a version of no comment.
Yeah.
If you can't defend the United States, you can go to your I can't comment on this report because I haven't read it, whatever sort of version that is. Every year when the Human Rights Council came out with their report, it was some version of this. And I promise you, the Bush administration pushed back on that hard every single time. That's ridiculous.
Eric, you got to admire their gumption.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And the way, and the alter side, the other side of that coin, human rights, is human opportunity. America provides a massive amount of opportunity. We have GDP per capita $53,000 or $54,000, far exceeding most of the people who are complaining about our human rights violations. We have 1/3 of all the wealth in the world. That raises standards of living. It raises life expectancies. You want to look at some countries,
and also that money goes to aid,
and we are the biggest giver of aid around the planet because of that. It's bizarre that they didn't push back on this. Think of some of the. Look at Iran. Look at Rwanda. Look at. Any host of different countries that have real human rights violations.
Well, also think about where do they get this language?
Yeah.
Right? From the left. In our own country, they agree.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Juan, the UN is a few blocks away. They are surrounded by armed guards.
Yeah.
Is it time to just remove the arm, make it a gun-free zone?
For you and your fantasy, right?
Exactly.
Knock them out.
Yes.
Right. No, look, the reality is that none of these countries are without flaw, including the United States. But, you know, the thing of it is, it's just craziness that they would put people on this panel, as you say, who have these egregious human rights violations. I mean, it's nutty.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you think about something like the military situation with the Chinese and the Russians, who were they to talk to us? Are they but anyway, but the fact is, I think it gives us added standing because we do need some credibility when we talk about them. And to say, yeah, okay, we have some problems and working on it, I don't see that that's a problem.
So we're just being polite. All right, Kimberly, here's what I find interesting. They call for the abolishing the death penalty, curbing NSA, closing Gitmo. What do these all have? And then they, of course, cascade law enforcement. What do these all have in common? in your...
Obama.
No, it's all...
I was told that was the right answer.
Yes, it always works. And then impeachment, and then Kenyan born. No, it's all...
Eats dogs.
Eats dogs.
Wait a minute, that's the secret sauce. You can't reveal that.
These are all things that protect us.
Right. Well, listen, but this is all what they can say about the U.S., and we had a top official, Cadigan, go and essentially cast aspersions on United States law enforcement. To me, it's just so sad. It's like we have to go on bended knee, say how bad we are. He basically flogged himself in front of them to make what? Make us look better, he thinks, in the international community by saying we're going to punish ourselves. Yes. We're very bad because we're keeping the world safe by keeping the bad guys in Gitmo. It just makes no sense. You have member nations on the Security Council that are literally the biggest human rights violators out there, that have secret police that beat and torture, execute people after quick mock, essentially, state trials. It's very disturbing to me. That's why I think the UN, it just really doesn't have so much credibility anymore.
You know what I got a kick out of?
What?
Here's what they say we're making progress on, Gregory.
What?
It says same-sex marriage.
Yes.
It says we're helping illegal aliens cross the border. It says we're protecting the privacy rights against government surveillance, I wish. And it says we're trying to close Gitmo. This sounds as if it was written by somebody who was trying to antagonize the right.
Yeah, I think you're right.